All right, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of aMillionortheMoon. In today's video, I want to talk about Casper Labs and why this project has the potential to be the next big Ethereum competitor, the next big Ethereum killer, the next big Solana that just comes out of nowhere and becomes a dominant force in the layer 1 smart contract space. So if you want to know more about what this project is about, my thoughts on the current price action, what I think could happen moving forward, then folks, do me and you a favor, like and subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified of new uploads, and without further ado, let's delve into it. So folks, Casper Labs is a layer 1 smart contract blockchain, and this is the space you got to be paying attention to, because if you look at the last 2 years of price action in crypto, who have really been the big winners? It's all been layer 1 smart contract blockchains: Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Elrond, Harmony One, Solana, AVAX, Algorand. There's dozens and dozens of Ethereum competitors. Why are there so many? Why are there so many that have been performing so well? It's because the demand for throughput is so high in the space and ever increasing, because the real utility of blockchain technology has only just begun. And so folks, I think like something like Casper Labs has a unique value proposition, and I think offers something a little bit different from what we're seeing in the space, that I think gives this thing an edge and really warrants our attention and our consideration. Because the thing that sets Casper Labs apart from all the rest of the competition, you know, there's dozens of Ethereum competitors. Why is Casper Labs any different? The reason why I like Casper Labs, and the reason why I think it's interesting, is specifically because they're going after enterprise and business adoption. There is no clear leader yet in that niche. Casper Labs offers services to reach out to businesses to help integrate business activities onto the blockchain. So any use case you can think of that can benefit from decentralization and censorship resistance, that business application can one day theoretically make its way onto the blockchain, and Casper Labs is trying to exploit that potential wave of use case moving on to the blockchain. So, you know, could you have a globally decentralized Uber running on the blockchain? Well, Casper Labs is attempting to see if that kind of world is possible. So who knows if this is really a niche that will truly see adoption and building and users come onto it moving forward. But that is what Casper Labs is trying to achieve. And so it's trying to carve out its own niche. It's not just faster, cheaper than Ethereum, but you know, they're trying to go after business adoption, making it easy for businesses to build on the blockchain using WebAssembly and Rust to make smart contracts, having the capability to reach out to businesses, to work with them, to speak with them, to help them and guide them with building smart contracts. That's what Casper Labs is all about. So folks, this thing's quite intriguing, because if we look at CoinGecko here, according to CoinGecko, this thing is currently down 90% from all-time highs, and currently down just about 50% from its recent all-time highs. So folks, looking at the last 2 years of price action, clear winners in this space have been layer 1 smart contract blockchains. Ethereum, Algorand, Cardano, Polkadot all have seen massive price appreciation over the last few years, and I bet we're likely to continue seeing that, because the demand for throughput is ever increasing. And given that Casper Labs is very interesting, faster, cheaper, but also trying to carve out and be the leader of a niche where there's no clear leader quite just yet, I think there's a unique value proposition here. And it's not just that it has a unique value proposition, but the price action looks super interesting as well. As I said, we're currently down roughly 50% from the most recent all-time highs, but most interestingly is that we are on support exactly where predicted. I've been talking about Casper Labs nonstop in our VIP Discord group and on our Twitter. Folks, follow our Twitter, become a VIP Discord member if you want access to what I'm looking at. There's a link for everything down in the description below. But folks, bottom line is, I'm a big fan of buying retracements on solid projects, things you believe in, on support, on historically relevant trend lines, and that is exactly where Casper Labs is right now. If we simply draw a trend line from the July price action to September price action and just extend that, we can see that this is still a relevant level of support to look out for, because that's exactly where the dump ended from the kind of November high here. So the market is telling us that this support area is still relevant as well. If we zoom out a bit here, we can see how buyers have historically stepped in at around this price range. So we have a confluence of reasons to think that this area here is very likely to act as support, which it has been. And folks, if you believe in this thing long term and it's on support, it's had a significant dip, well, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice, but what I can say is that I've definitely been buying exactly at these regions on support. Now, if we take a look at our indicators as well, we can note something extremely interesting here. I love seeing this, folks. Look, a lot of people like to give price predictions and say things are going to the moon. I don't really like to give set in stone price predictions. I like to follow the price action, and instead of just coming up with my own arbitrary price predictions, I just follow the indicators and what they're telling us. And right now, folks, what the indicators are telling us is that we're seeing bullish divergence. We're seeing momentum shift from a bearish momentum to a bullish momentum here. Looking at the daily RSI, we have a lower low in price action paired with a higher high in RSI. That is bullish divergence. That is exactly what you want to look out for when trying to find a bottom. As well, looking at the daily MACD, the histogram has been shifting up for several days now. Momentum is clearly shifting the upside. So given that we're seeing bullish divergence, momentum shifting the upside, a confluence of reasons to think that this area is support, folks, while this is not financial advice and I'm not a financial advisor, what I can say is that I'm buying at these regions here. Not only just that, if you're more on the safe side, I would say one could wait if you want to buy into momentum, buy into strength, see if and when Casper Labs can break out bullishly from this trend line here. If we break out bullishly above this trend line and get a higher high by closing daily basis, so if we get a higher high closing above 13 cents, well, in that case, we'd have even more confirmation of the downtrend reversing, and one could buy into strength if one wants to wait for more bullish confirmation. So folks, look, I think this is very interesting times for Casper. While momentum is clearly shifting the upside, there is always the possibility of things to break down. If Bitcoin just happens to flash crash, if there's some kind of black swan event with the stock market that negatively affects Bitcoin, which could negatively affect Casper Labs. And so while we're seeing the signs that this could be a local bottom, or we're seeing the signs that we could break out bullishly and the trend could reverse to a more bullish trend, it's just that. It's just signs. Until we have confirmation, it's really just a bit of hopium. So I would want to see that higher high above 13 cents by daily closing basis. And if we zoom out here and identify some more historically relevant resistance regions, right here from about 14 cents to about 14.5 cents has historically been resistance as well. So daily candles closing above that would serve as further bullish continuation of a bullish reversal of the trend. And then aside from that, I would also be looking at 15.5 cents to about 16 cents here, historically relevant price reactive zone, therefore likely to be price reactive moving forward. So those are the three major resistance levels I'm looking out for. Each level we start to spend time above serves as further bullish confirmation. Now, if we start to break down from our trend line here, if we lose, I would say 10 cents, that would be quite bearish, and in that case, Casper Labs could enter an extended correction and consolidation period, and we would no longer have any signs of short-term bullishness. So regardless of the short-term, folks, I highly believe that this thing has the potential to be the next Solana, the next big up-and-comer layer 1 smart contract blockchain, specifically because of how new this thing is. I don't believe Casper has any, or if it does, maybe not many decentralized applications built on top of it, which you could say is maybe a negative against Casper, because you could say it's unproven, but I view that as this being early days. So folks, look, I don't expect this thing to do 100x anytime soon, next week, next month. But if we're talking years down the road, what's the potential in terms of the candidates out there that could be the next Solana, the next major up-and-coming competitor to Ethereum? I definitely think that Casper Labs, later down the road, as there's more decentralized applications built on top of it, as users come, I think could be a strong contender for the next big Ethereum competitor. And the fact that we're not there yet, and the fact that there's not users here yet, and the fact that there's not decentralized applications here yet, just means that you're early. The potential for upside is more outsized the earlier you are. So folks, look, those are my thoughts with Casper Labs. No guarantee everything can go to zero, but in terms of the options we have out there of what could be the next big thing, I do believe Casper Labs is a strong competitor and definitely worth your consideration. So folks, if you like the video, you gotta do me and you a favor, like and subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified of new uploads. Check out our Twitter. We're tweeting all kinds of Gucci stuff whenever there's news and updates, breakouts with different projects we're following. We're definitely tweeting about it. it, there's a link down in the description below. As well, if you want access to our portfolio, our take profit strategy, and the things we're looking at, none of this is financial advice, but we do have our VIP Discord group. There's a link for that down in the description below. You get access through our Patreon. Make sure you go check that out. And let me just make sure I shilled everything I should shill. I'm pretty sure that's all the shilling I got for right now. So folks, stay tuned. More shilling on the way. Take care.